At some point on my journey, I really had to decide if I wanted to live in scarcity anymore. And that's not to say that you can get rid of your fear, because we're human beings and fear is part of that experience. But to understand the dynamic of abundance and finding it within you is a really profound experience. So to find that connection for me, it was definitely a spiritual ride. And it has covered off an array of things like my health, my prosperity, my relationships, my purpose, you name it, becoming a parent. It was all on it wasn't one move that got me to find, really tap into that abundance and use it moment to moment. I think it's built up over time, understanding duality and really using that muscle, the energetic muscle, to tap into it and move from that place. Wasn't one place, wasn't one thing. And everybody's story is different. So I've called upon some friends and abundance experts I know and love and to support us along our journey, because by no means am I finished. And I think that's part of the reason I started this podcast. And so I welcome you. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Your Abundance Podcast. It's a space for you to expand your abundance. I'm Erin Trethowan, your host and your guide on this transformative journey. And I'm thrilled to have you co-creating this podcast with me. You calling in for answers, me calling in for answers, and my desire to ask questions is a great match. I'm really clear about the fact that I want this to be a place for you to expand, provide insight, lessons, and tools that you can carry on your own personal journey to abundance within you. Before we dive in to your abundance conversations, I invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave a review if you enjoy what we share, because your feedback fuels our mission and helps us reach more hearts in search of abundance. So if you're ready to expand your horizons and blow your mind and step into the energetic world of abundance, and your answer is yes, let's embark on another episode of Your Abundance Podcast. And welcome to, I don't know if it's going to be the final episode for 2024, but it is the 1 year anniversary of Your Abundance Podcast for 2024. We had our first episode December last year, where we've been absolutely, I've loved every minute of it. I've loved the beautiful guests I've had on. I think we started the first episode with the beautiful Joanna Hunter, with a millionaire episode, and with her program, which a few of you jumped into. I would love to know how you've gone. Jump into the Your Abundance Podcast chat, the Facebook group, and let me know where you're at with that, because there's only 3 weeks to go. I have to say my personal journey with this is, although I haven't made $1 million in the year, I feel like I have got myself in a really good position for 2025. And it's been a consistent year of up levels. And I've loved every minute of it. The experiment, the $1 million experiment, was all about, can you manifest $1 million with just mindset and alone? I think it was mindset and something alone. And the answer to that is, I don't believe that it is. It's the only thing that you can do. It depends on your makeup. But for me, this journey of unfolding into my future self now, my millionaire self, is really been about getting into alignment with everything that makes me abundant. That was the first thing, and why Your Abundant Podcast started. And then also, it's not just about the money, but money is what system we live in here on planet Earth, where we exchange and we can do great things with money, especially when it's in the hands of good people and people who want to inspire and create change and make impact, which is most of my audience who are listening. And so
what I found was that it activated me in a really interesting way to become who I am now. The one thing that firstly, before I get into that, the one thing I want to say is thank you to everyone. I know there are a few of you who have listened to every single episode of Your Abundance podcast this year, and I want to say thank you. I haven't gone out for a little while. I have been having big uploads and downloads and shifts and really navigating what I'm doing with myself for the next year, as well as where I'm at now, and really activating more inspiration within myself. Being a generator in human design and a 6-2, which enables my leadership qualities, I'm a doer as well. So that the combination of those two things, really, the universe has played in giving me a lot of tests this year on my coaching and what I offer in my coaching and all the services with my healings and transformations, that whether it's systemic, family systemic, whether it's in your Akashic records, whether it's past lives, whether it's opening businesses. I'm really grateful for all the clients who've spent time with me this year and have activated so much in their lives, which has been fantastic. But just thank you for being part of my journey and listening to Your Abundance podcast. The growth has been really powerful, and the learning and the connection. And I'm so grateful to have shared this space with you, the listeners, and also the guests. And I would love to jump to the Facebook group, and it's not very active in there at the moment, but I'd love to hear from you. What would you love to hear about in 2025 from the Your Abundance podcast? And from me, as a person who receives the higher guidance pretty much every minute of the day, you would like to know, what you would like to learn, if there's anything you want guidance on, would you like me to do a riff on, as in you want me to channel on from the universe, if you want some guidance. We're going to open it up next year and really activate what people are really needing from Your Abundance podcast. And obviously we explored the fact that abundance means not just financial, although we did kick off with the millionaire experiment, $1 million experiment. But that abundance is about life and love and alignment. And in reflecting, because I've been doing a little bit of that leading into Soul Accelerator, which we launch next Friday. It's all been around about how we want to end 2024 and how we want to lead ourselves into 2025. Because I think one of the things that happens around this time of year, you can either lose momentum because of all the holiday rush and getting caught up in the hustle and the busy, or you can really take this time to align. And I think there's no right or wrong time to align, to be honest. We want to be in alignment as much as we possibly can. And that's alignment with your authenticity, alignment with your abundance codes, alignment with who your truth and where you're headed in the world. And so for me, one of the biggest lessons I've learned this year, and it was shown to me over and over again, and it really didn't hit home until this last week when I was away, but you are the inspiration you've been searching for. And everything that you need to create the life you desire is already within you. It just is waiting to be awakened. But it's not just that. It's also the fact that we have a conscious side and an unconscious side, and we do interact with the community, and we're all here to expand each other as well as expand ourselves. Now, what I mean when I say you are the inspiration you've been searching for and you have everything you need, is truly true as adults. Truly true. It's a double. As adults, we have the ability to fulfill a lot of our own needs ourselves. Essentially self-love, feeding ourselves, survival, feeling safe. These things are something we can activate within ourselves. But I kept getting shown by the universe all year, whether it was from hiring coaches or money going up and down and things not quite turning out the way I wanted them to, or the way I thought things should look, but it kept directing me back inward. Everything kept directing me back into myself. And being a 6'2", a 2 is a hermit. So I do have this need to go within, and obviously being highly empathic, this is such a powerful thing to have, to be able to do. But I really needed to lean into that because I was using a lot of outside, which it's funny because this part of me as a generator, I'm lit, I wait to respond. I get response, jumping into the community, giving me a response on the podcast, telling me that I listened to that and that was so good and I got so much from it. That lights me up because I am a generator and I'm a sacral generator, and my energy is wait to respond. So the energy comes in and then I respond to it. When someone's active within my world, whether it's in It's Your Destiny membership and they're active and they're online with me live doing a rapid alignment session, or you're in my Vox or in my one-on-one and we're interacting, that gets me to use my gifts really well. And I was having this grapple with the universe about this inward and outward energy and what it really means to feel the inspiration from within to then go out. Because for our whole life, we're taught that the inspiration comes from outside of you and then you lead with that. But what it was really about was activating the parts of me that show me I'm inspired. So activating that sacral, really grounding my root chakra, clearing out all this energy around wealth and finances and codependent, murky stuff that was still lingering. I'd done a lot of work on it, but it was still a little bit of lingering there, and showing up in a way that was teaching me that I am extremely magnetic. And this is part of the abundance journey. You all know that I'm a conscious manifester from way back, but understanding why I'm that magnetic and what lights me up and what are my authentic codes that actually allow me to shine through as who I am and share my gifts to the world. And the last thing that's activated in me recently around my authenticity and around my things that I use as a gauge to keep things aligned with me, because we can easily take it off into other people's stuff, especially when you're feeling so many things in other people. And everyone who's listening to my podcast, I'm pretty sure you're all empathic in some way or another, or psychic. I'm highly psychic. So I not only have my empathy, empathic abilities, I also have this other whole divine download psychic mastery of Akashic records that I've been doing wherever, that I can tap into anything and anywhere at any space and time to clear blocks and remove things for clients. Coming back to myself is really important, and really being aligned with my own true soul, my own Yuan Shen is what we call it in the Tao, and staying true to that. So I spent a lot of time this year activating my Lower Dantian, really embracing the energy of it, which is a very grounding thing to do. If you're wanting to know, the Lower Dantian is just below the solar plexus, sort of below the belly button and a little bit behind. It's our financial center. It's our energy center in the body that activates our wealth, our finances, our abundance, our flourishing. And so I spent a lot of time really activating that and also clearing my spiritual channels to a depth that I didn't even know. I did some spiritual training in the Tao this year, and a lot of the thing came with, open your heart more, Erin, open your heart more, Erin. And I was like, are you kidding me? I can't do this. I can't open it anymore. I was like, I can't receive anymore. Like, I just receive so much information all the time. And they're like, you should always receive more. You should always receive more, but you need to open your heart. And to open my heart, I had to do a lot of karma work, deep karma work. And that was huge. But it brought me back, and this is, I digress slightly, but it brought me back to where I am, the inspiration in my life. And there was this real deep part of me that I'd hidden away in the shadows about being inspirational. And I'm getting emotional just kind of putting it out there. because this is the first time I've put it out to my community about how I feel about this. But for a long time, I didn't feel like I did the work I did. I just did it because that's what I did. Like I was good at it. I was a genius at it. Like it's my genius zone. But there was a part of me that had always, it didn't really believe that I was as inspirational as I am, and that even my personal stories, even though I use my stories every single day to help people move and shift in their lives, it's not that my story wasn't relevant, but just that I didn't have that inspiration due to a life, general parenting, systemic things, like all the things that we learn how to be in the world. I had to unpack this part of me that had hidden this consciousness around the level of inspiration that I bring to the table, the level of downloads that come through me, the level of future knowledge, past knowledge, but also just me being this inspiration for myself, but also out then in the world. And the universe brought me back to this so many times. I would go to get the answers from a coach and it would send me back to myself. I would go and get the answers from social media. It would send me back to myself. I would go and it would use finances to send me back to myself, because I'd be like, I really want to do this thing. And the money wasn't there. And I'm like, wow. And so I always learned that when the money's up there to do something, it's the universe directing you back into yourself to find the answer within you. But there's two-pronged approach to this when I talk about that you are the inspiration you've been searching for, clearly. But there's also this other side of being in relationship, because we can fulfill a lot of our own needs nowadays. It's very easy. But at the same time, if you're moving from your soul and you're moving, like for me, it's every day, it's just one foot in front of the other next day. And I live in the moment. And that's how I am but the best inspiration I can be is being present and living in the moment. That's what makes me a good coach. It's what makes me a good channeler. It's what really elevates my energy to the level that I need to be at to support clients. And when I look at this kind of inspiration outside of ourselves, what I didn't really see, and I learned this recently and through an abundance of amazing human beings, when I called them in, the universe always delivers, where they showed me that little tweaks and things like the inspiration, you are the inspiration, but we all still are human beings and we do have this deep connection to each other. And that what I'm here to do on this planet is inspirational for someone else, because I'm filling a gap that you aren't able to fill yourself, because there's so much opportunity. There's so much stuff on the planet. We experience life and being an empath. I'm telling you, this is the upside to being an empath and really understanding this. We experience life through each other. So when you hire me, or I hire a coach, or you hire me as a coach, you're experiencing the things I've already done in my energy field when you come into my containers, whether it's divinity, it's your destiny membership, whether it's one-to-one, whether it's we've got coming up Soul Accelerator. These places are where you get to come in and activate codes within yourself and experience transformations. And I'm literally a transformation queen. I think I have them all, every day. We constantly embody where you're bombarded with your energy of the past coming in and you're trying to bring in the future. My energy field is come into my world, because literally we're in the now all the time. And so we diffuse a lot of the things that you're stuck in the past that you can't then bring in the future. But I feel a gap for you and this is what you will do, because I know a lot of you listening have your own businesses or coaches or are doing work that is impactful and you're wanting to make a difference in people's lives with small businesses. And I see all of you. You all have this gift for your clients as well. And so understanding when you live in your inspiration, when you live in your true essence, and when you come into a container, it's not because there's no guilt in it. There's no shame in having a coach, but there's also no shame in choosing to do it yourself. They're both as equally there for you. But sometimes the expansion is actually, you feel a gap. I feel a gap for you that your soul hasn't got time to journey out. That's why I call it Soul Accelerator. We're doing it in next week for 4 weeks. We're in a group container. We accelerate. When you're in a group container, this is why it's so fab. You're activating each other's experiences within your energy field, and you collapse time by doing that. And I say collapse time, meaning we're in the moment. We're living out our truth. We're becoming who we deeply want to be. And you know what? I'm inviting you to the transformation. That's what's literally happening. I've given up selling, and I offer you invitations. You can come and transform. You can come and be in this container, even if you don't know what you need to transform, because it will happen. Like, I have every faith in all of my containers. All of my clients receive what they need to receive and transform what they need to transform while they're spending time with me. I have clients who've been with me for 10 years, and I have clients who I've new and just started a couple of months ago. So everybody's at different levels. We're all at different spaces, but we're all here to connect and fill in those gaps of transformation that our soul needs. Because you know what? If you're aiming for that $1 million where you were at the start of the year and you're not even close to that, I will guarantee you that has to do with your karma. That is completely why when you're buying something from a coach or a trainer or somebody to activate what they're doing with you, it doesn't work all the time, because you have your own lineage karma, you have your ancestral trauma karma, and you have your past life karma, which is also ancestral. So you can have karma that you can't see and that you're not making the revenue that you want to make, or the abundance or the flourishing that you want to have, because of the karma that you can't see. And that's why my container, like I'm talking about the current one coming up, which is Soul Accelerator, is so powerful, because it's going to activate, like it just collapses a lot of time that you don't need. And that's why you hire people like me. That's why you come into the containers and you be in the energy field of the Tao, of the guides, of the manifestations, the transformations, of the parts of you who you want to be. And I felt personally, it was feeling disconnected a few times this year, where I was like, what I'm over here doing one thing when I was feeling disconnected. It's hard to connect back because I'm not feeling that way anymore. But everything was like, it wasn't hard, but it wasn't like easy. And it's not that I'm used to easy. I was talking about this in a blog post yesterday. When easy isn't easy, it doesn't mean transformation is not going to be the magic that sometimes it is magic. Sometimes it feels like magic. Sometimes it's, oh my God, I got an aha. People come in to my containers and they're like, oh, I feel so good. And then they wonder why, when they come back or they don't come back, what the shift is. But my thing is, I feel good. I follow my joy. I do things with ease and grace and flow. That is what I'm manifesting. My big manifestation is this year. And what the shift has been is, it's not just about bringing in $1 million. It's about bringing it in with ease, grace, and flow, because I don't want to live in hustle. I love my country life. I love doing this. Me living in hustle means I can't do this. But I am also learning that the activations that I offer are inspirational. They change lives. They're asking you to step into a version of yourself that you're dreaming about, that you haven't been stepping into. And I did that. That's what I was doing. I was doing exactly that. And I said this to my client today. I'm the kind of coach we're doing something deep today. So I pick up the phone and I made a phone call to them. And we spent 2.5 hours on the phone, because she was in a deep place. It was a very intense trauma that came up that I knew needed conversation, which wasn't planned for a week and a half away. So I'm like, let's just do this now. Like I can't help but be that person and activate. If it's in the now and I get the ping to do it, I'll do it. It's not about the money. It's about the fact that this is what the universe is asking me to do. And it's that depth of change and the depth of commitments that I've made to living this way, but also to the clients who come in and to the transformations that are being shown. Like we were dealing with the family sexual traumas and even life traumas in this lifetime, but also with their family, and then also the generational stuff. And this takes depth. And so when I call in my soul clients, we're here to transform. And I think that's what we're here to do. We're here to elevate and transform our whole lives. So I say you are the inspiration, when I offer you the opportunity to transform and you feel inspired and you don't take that action, that is usually your own fear of the success that you will receive in my container. That is what I know. And what I also know is that you have the opportunity to choose to do it with me. You can do it with anybody I'm not saying you do what I do with anybody. You'll be inspired to work with someone else or do something else or not hire a coach at all. And there'll be lessons in that as well. But what I'm saying is if you're feeling inspired and you're not taking the leap because you think it's about money, you think it's about something else, it'll be the fact that you're not letting yourself be the inspiration to yourself and trusting that you have this ability to really align with who you are for the rest of the year and who you are moving forward, not just to 2025. Like we've got 3 weeks left and it's been a crazy year. I've been playing in my signs. I'm a Scorpio Aquarius rising, and which means that I like depth, but I also offer the other side of the coin, which is the strategy, the implementation, the steps, your version of how, your version of marketing, your version of soul clients. Like we talk about what it is. It's not just woo. We do the tangible stuff as well. Can't help it. That's my Aquarius rising. But then there's this depth of me as a Scorpio who is all about depth and transformation and being connected. And that's why I'm here. And so this huge shift from starting at the end of last year with your abundance to now starting the $1 million mindset, the money hasn't shown up yet in the way it will, but the version of me now on the 5th of December, 2024 at 4 p.m. while I'm recording this is truly showing up because I'm here to inspire you to be that version for you. I'm here to inspire me. I'm here to inspire many people to do this. And so there was a moment when I realized that chasing external validation and solutions and things that's outside of me where I am enough, I am worthy, all the things, the unapologetic energy. But the thing that activated me the most was that I have everything I need to inspire myself, despite the fact that I'm a generator and that I am inspired from within, and I'm inspired from energy that comes in to then respond back. Like I wait to respond. The energy gives me information, then I respond. That I spent a lot of my life trying to find it, going out and getting it. Like I need to do something about it. And that is where the shift in energy is. It's understanding the actions there. You still make moves. I still work hard. And I don't say work hard. Actually, let me rephrase that because I'm at the moment not working as in I don't work. This doesn't feel like work to me. This just feels genius zone is not a work word. I do it well, and I do it with ease. And what I am doing is living my soul purpose, and I'm paid accordingly from the divine. I'm supplied for everything that I need from the divine, but I also have the equal parts within me. And that is the lesson in the difference with the mirrors as well. And so this is your invitation that this is exactly what I'll be guiding you through in Soul Accelerator, but on a deeper level. We start next Friday in the Telegram group chat. I am currently playing in the energy. So there's going to be some pivots in there. There's going to be some upgrades in there that I haven't even added yet. The pricing may change. So if you haven't got in yet, I think it's 444. There is a payment plan as well. If that payment plan doesn't work for you, ask and you shall receive, because that's what we do here. And we work to, there's a VIP where you get some one-on-one time with me, which may also change if I activate. If you get into it now, you're going to get whatever I change for the price it's at now. If I change it before we launch next week, I will do that as well. There's going to be modules we're going to be activating every day. I'm going to have your back through the Christmas period, which, let me tell you, is the most triggering time of the year with our family ancestors and heritage, where we spend time with family, the people who activate us the most. And I will be there in the background, giving pillars and showing you opportunity. Because one thing I am very good at is turning the negative into an opportunity. Let me tell you, I've been doing that from a very young age. I've always been that way. So I have taken lemons and made lemonade my whole life. And that's why you hang out in my energy. So I'm inviting you into the transformation. And if that's not for you, completely great. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I'd love you to leave a message in the Facebook group, or even send me a private message. I love a chat. And let me know what you loved, what you got from today's podcast. Is there anything you want to see for 2025 from Your Abundance Podcast? And even my coaching, if you want something, like there's no bar holds really on what I do, because I'm holistic. So we do business, we do love, we do sex, we do relationships, we do trauma, we do marketing, I've been doing this business for 10 years. I would also have an advertising background. I've got my client service division. So if we need to set you up some emails and workflows and systems, like I'm a systems queen, so I have that as well. Hence the tangible and the woo coming together is my world. If you want me to do a psychic reading, Soul Accelerator VIP has a soul reading, which is specifically for you. You may get one of those in the group. I'm not quite sure what's going to unpack, because I love the fact that I live in the moment. And if the universe is telling me to change something, I'll change it in the moment. And if I'm getting guided to pivot and take aligned action and inspired action about something, I will. Hence, this podcast is even inspired. And I'm so looking forward to next year, next week, today, putting this podcast out for you to listen to. And I can't wait. If you want to be in the most magnetic version of you by the end of the year, we're starting on the 13th, Friday the 13th, jump in to Soul Accelerator. If that's not for you, we've also got, Eat Your Destiny. We've got Divinity 1-to-1 still has openings for 2025, where you can come into my 1-to-1 containers and we hang out for the year in Voxer and on Zoom chats. And you also get access to some pretty wild things. In actual fact, you get Soul Accelerator for free, and you also get Eat Your Destiny for free if you're in my Divinity coaching for the year. So that is still available, and you can jump into that too. The other thing is, this is an invitation for transformation. I feel like there's something brewing with Soul Accelerator. I think there's going to be a version of that next year that is going to be across a number of topics. So we're going to see what that turns out that's in the pipelines. And then if you have something else, come in, ask me for it. We've got healings. We've got the healing channel within Eat Your Destiny. You can jump in there. You get healings monthly. You'll get rapid alignment in there if you're just wanting to spend some time and hang out with me. And then anyone else in the group, you've got all my recorded, not all my recorded programs, but a lot of my recorded programs and masterclasses in there, which you can jump into and get activated from as well. And then whatever else comes for 2024. And then we're going to move through that Christmas week, because that is a really activating time, but it's also a time to use wisely. I'm been activating my end of year and then obviously my 2025 self now, because I want to be now. I'm doing it now. The energy is now, and we're really ready. So take a moment to reflect on what does the most inspired self, your most inspired self look like? Because this is what I look like. And if you're ready to explore that vision and make it real, reach out. Love to share how Soul Accelerator can support you, but also any other ways, because if I get guidance to send you somewhere else, I will send you somewhere else. I have partnerships and affiliates. So you've got to start hearing those in the podcast coming up as well. If you want to be a guest on my podcast, you can do that too. Send out an invitation. If you want to just get into my DMs and have a chat and see how I can help you. The biggest fear that most people have is the success that they're going to get when they come in and hang out with me. And there's nothing to be afraid of because it's really fun. So I invite you to take time, think about the vision for the rest of the year. How do you want to finish? Do you want to finish with power? Do you want to finish with excitement? Do you want to finish with peace? Do you want to finish calm and clear? How do you want to look? How do you want the end of the year to look? And then we'll look at also, how do we want the start of the year to look? Because I am always of the belief we start how we want to finish, and we bring that in. I'm very intentional in my spaces. I'm very intentional in what I do every single day. And so I invite you to do the same. I'll put some links below, but you know where to find me in Instagram, email. Some of you even have my phone number, and we can go from there. So I am so excited. If I don't do another episode, because I don't know, I play it by ear. If I don't do another episode before the end of the year, I am so grateful that you've listened all year. Thank you. I had someone jump in. Someone listed, I'm all caught up. This was a few weeks ago. I'm like, oh, there must be inspiration to do another episode. I'm like, it's coming. And here it is. So I so hope that whatever you take from this, that you receive and enjoy, and the transformation has already started. Just so if you're in my containers, whether you're listening to the podcast, whether you're watching my social media, whether you're receiving any inspiration from me, whether you're in my containers or not, the transformation has already started. And I look forward to, if you want to choose to continue that transformation with me, you know where to find me. And otherwise, I will see you and speak to you on the next episode of Your Abundance Podcast. Here's to yours. Bye.
And that wraps up another soul-nourishing episode of Your Abundance Podcast. I hope our time together has left you feeling inspired, enlightened, and ready to embrace the abundance that life has to offer. If you found value in today's episode, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on our future conversations. And hey, sharing is caring, so feel free to spread the abundance by sharing this podcast with your fellow seekers. And I can't wait to have our next conversation on Your Abundance Podcast. See you then.